As COVID-19 spread across the world earlier this year, and entering lockdown for many people was a real shock to the system, mentally, emotionally and physically. Our next speaker played a really compelling role in keeping Britain's spirits high during lockdown by becoming the nation's PE teacher and leading millions of live viewers in daily morning workout sessions, efforts which led him to be named an MBE in the recent Queen's Honours List. Joe Wicks is on a mission to make the world fitter, healthier and happier, and is the man behind the fitness brand The Body Coach. He's the author of 8 best-selling books and will soon launch a new fitness app. Here to help us start the day at Wild Live with a 5-minute mobility session, please welcome Joe Wicks.
Good morning everybody, thank you for that wonderful introduction Greg, and I'm really glad to be here today. We're going to have a wonderful Q&A and hopefully answer some great questions. But before we start, I thought why not do a little 5-minute mobility warm-up, nothing too intense, it's not going to be burpees and squat jumps, but let's just open our body up, get our joints moving and hopefully energise us for the rest of the day. So first I'm going to do nice and simple, just step away from your laptop or your phone and we're going to do some walkouts. So essentially, feet on the ground, we put our hands on the ground in front of us, we just slowly walk our hands out into a high plank, slowly walk back till your fingers touch your toes and go again. Let's do a few of these, you're going to feel a stretch in the back of your hamstrings. So it's really important that obviously we sit down a lot, especially during lockdown, we're in our chairs. It's important to warm these muscles up, get some flexibility going through the back of the legs. So let's do a couple more of these ones, just walking the hands out, feel the stretch, almost trying to keep those legs straight, feel the stretch in the hamstring. Perfect, walking out, walking back in. Perfect. Next I'm going to do another great exercise for our hip flexors. We're going to have one knee on the ground, one foot on the floor. We're going to stretch up like this into our hip flexor. So again, a nice one for opening up the hips. So stretch up, and then we sort of sit down, sitting our heel, a bum towards our heel to stretch the front of that hamstring. So hip flexor into your hamstring. Just a nice, slow, controlled move. Push and really think about stretching that up, hip flexor, and then sitting down into the hamstring. So push up and sit down. Perfect. We'll change legs. So same thing. Other leg now. So switching forwards. Stretch up. Sit into the hamstring. Nice big stretch. Perfect. Nice little move there. You know, they're low intensity, but it's good for your hip. It makes you feel, you're going to feel good afterwards. So a couple more on this side. Nice big stretch up. Sit into that hamstring. Brilliant. Next one we're going to do into a high plank position. We're going to step our left foot to our left hand. So put your foot by your left hand and then you just open up your chest. So do a few of those on each side, 2. Let's do 3 on that side and then we'll switch. So now right foot goes by the right hand, open up the chest, 1, 2, 3, good. Let's do 1 more on each side. So left leg again, out to the side, open up that hip, 1, 2, 3, good. Final one on the other side. So right foot, open up the right hand, comes up 1, 2, 3, 4, perfect. Now, this is another great one for our hips. This is called a 90-90 sit. So what we're going to do, sit down in this position like this. You may find that you're sort of leaning over, but that's fine. But what you're trying to do is create a 90-degree angle with the front leg, 90-degree angle with the back leg. Just sitting up, and then if you can, sort of lean over, so bringing your chest over your knee. You're going to feel that in your glute and the outside of your hip. So hold that for a few seconds. Then we're going to rotate, so pivot, same thing. This is a really great exercise for opening up your hips, internal and external rotation. This is good for, for improving your lunge, your squats. So 90-degree bend there, same there. Hands on the ground in front, and just sort of lean over, chest goes over that knee, and repeat. Good. Keep it going, same one, other side, so chest over, drive that foot and knee into the ground, create rotation in the hip. This is the one move that's really helped me because I had a bit of an injury in my hip. It's a really good one to do. If you can do it a few times a day, just a few minutes at a time, you can really feel the benefits of that one. Perfect. Right, up we get. Another really important one, something we don't often take care of, is our shoulders. So what we're going to do is a nice big circle, so arms come up, and then start to rotate your palms, so get a nice big circle, so eventually your palm will be facing away, and do the same thing backwards. So creating really big circles with the arms. Same again, so nice big circles. You're going to feel a little bit of clicking. Rotate, twist those palms out towards you. Good. Same again, back, unscrew those arms, and relax. Perfect. Final one, nice little one for the spine. Arms out to the side, and we're going to just touch our toes. So left to right, just nice and slow. A little bit of rotation in the spine. Perfect. Last few seconds. Really good. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. So there you go, nice and simple. 5-minute mobility. We open up our hips, our shoulders, our chest, and our lower back. So a really great little routine. I'm going to sit down now in my chair, pull up a little chair next to the camera. I'm going to kick things off with our Q&A. Let's do it, Greg. Hope you enjoyed that. Hope you got involved.
Joe, I'm feeling great already. Thanks so much. And I should also say that during the lockdown earlier this year, the Wired team had a daily conference every day, daily meeting every day, and several members of the team would join us feeling kind of, glowing after having done PE with Joe. So thanks for that, for keeping us all in shape during lockdown.
It's good to know.
It really was a bright spot for many people during the lockdown. Do you think the pandemic has fundamentally changed the way that people think about healthy living?
I really think there's been a massive shift, in people's attitudes and habits towards exercise. I think there was always that tradition of, mum or dad would go to the gym, on your lunch break or before or after work, and it wasn't really done in front of the kids, and it's kind of they do PE at school. And I think lockdown and PE with Joe definitely brought families together for the first time, and it remove that resistance of the commute, getting to the gym, the hour there, the hour back, and people now realise they can have a great workout in their living room or their bedroom or their garden, with no equipment. And that's really what I've been trying to achieve, to make fitness accessible and sustainable for everybody. And I really hope that people, realise you don't need an expensive gym membership and loads of equipment to stay fit and healthy. That's really my goal.
Yeah, and obviously so much has gone online, so much has gone digital now. You're part of that, obviously, with the Healthy Living app that you're releasing. Tell us a little bit more about that journey. What are you hoping to achieve?
So I've always had a kind of a paid product. So I've obviously got, my business really is all about free content and accessible fitness for everyone. And that's with my YouTube channel, with my Instagram, with all the live workouts I do. And I love that, and I will continue to do that. But the business side of things, I've got an online fitness business with a tailored meal plan and a workout plan, which gets sent via email. It's quite kind of analog. And so for the past year, we've invested quite heavily in an amazing agency in the UK called Us2, who's helped us digitize that product and take it to the next level. And it's incredible. I'm so proud of it. Design-wise, it's amazing. The UX, and it also tracks your mood. So it's not just about the before and after and the physical transformation. We track people's mood, their energy, how they're feeling. So it really takes into account mental health as well as the physical transformation. And my aim with this product is to really create something that is accessible and sustainable for millions of people around the world.
Yeah, and from what I understand, you were in the process of developing it when the pandemic struck. Did that arrival of coronavirus change the way that you thought about the app and the way that people are going to use it?
Well, I've always been promoting home workouts, so it's not like I've just come out of it with this idea of home fitness. I believe that home workouts are the future for many people. Obviously, there'll always be gyms and boutique platforms and things, but I think for the general population, training at home is so much easier and so much more sustainable. So we really took that into account. Very little equipment, very little space, so that it can be done in a tiny little bedroom, or it can be done in your kitchen. It's about utilising the space you've got with really accessible workouts, and they're also progressive. So before, I just had one level of fitness plan for everybody. Now I've got like a beginner plan, intermediate and advanced. So it's really progressive. And I also think I like the idea of in the future bringing in family workouts, getting kids involved. So it's really a product for everyone. It's not aimed at sort of one type of person. But I do believe that there's been a huge shift. So before lockdown, I used to get 2 million views per month on my YouTube channel. I'm now getting 6 to 7 million views a month. So the behaviours have changed and they've stuck. I really think people are going to, some people will go back to the gym who love their CrossFit and love their classes and stuff. But I think overall the population of people are going to want to exercise at home in the future.
So the app's going to follow a subscription model. Obviously, you built your career and your brand around free content, how are you going to balance that kind of desire for accessibility that you have, also with the need to obviously have a commercial aspect to this?
So I've always had a kind of premium product with a 90-day plan, which we've had 600,000 people have signed up to in the past 6 years. So it's been amazing. It's always been there. But really, my main kind of brand and my growth on social media has come through, my free Instagram recipes and my YouTube channel, which I do one video a week. I have done every single week for like 7 years now. So there's about 250 videos on there. So I'll always have that. I'll always have the access for people that maybe don't want to invest in the app or can't buy a cookbook. So I'm very much engaged with my audience. I understand the value of free content. So it's not like the app goes live and then I stop doing YouTube. I'll continue to do one a week, keep that ticking over for the people that don't want to invest in the app. But for those that want a more tailored approach and want a bit more structure, the app will be there. But I've looked at the market, I've seen the pricing on your Peloton, your Fit TV, all these online platforms, and I think I've come in at a really great price, which is cheaper than anyone anywhere in the world doing it. And I think the value in the product is so good. I mean, I'm giving out 40 new recipes a month, 8 brand new workouts plus live workouts with me. So there's so much value, and it's only it's going to be $14.99 a month, or it's going to be £89 for the year. So I think it's a really great price point and a really valuable product.
You mentioned mental health earlier. Clearly, there's a significant mental health crisis going on, affecting disproportionately affecting young people and older people. How do you think we can best support people with mental health challenges during these times? How are you thinking about it in terms of what you're doing?
Well, I've always been, banging the drum, the link between exercise and mental health and our anxiety and stress levels and all these things. So I've always been really conscious of it. I think now more than ever, I'm talking about it a lot more. I'm sharing more blogs. I'm talking about it on live Instagram. I'm telling people how I feel and how, I'm having low days, and it really helps encourage the conversation. So within the app and the products itself, we're using tech to kind of track people's moods. So it asks questions like, how are you sleeping better this month? Are you feeling more energized? Are you happier? So that people start to realize, even if they haven't lost weight this month, all these other amazing intrinsic things that are so important, they're going to be presented to you. So you're going to think, yeah, I am making progress. I am feeling better. So that's one thing that's important. And again, it's about talking, it's about communicating, it's about creating a community where it's okay to talk about our feelings. And I'm seeing it a lot with my own body coach team. Their mental health struggling. They're feeling anxious, they're feeling more stressed. And even though the workload's not super high at the moment, I know they're just struggling with being indoors. So we're offering them, access to social, mental health support. I'm providing them with gym kit for their homes. So I'm really conscious of my team's mental health as opposed to just saying, just crack on and just keep going until it's all over. I'm trying to support them through the lockdown as much as I can.
So you've developed, large followings on platforms like YouTube and Instagram, which aren't always the healthiest place for people, especially people who are feeling vulnerable. What advice do you have for people to maintain a healthy relationship with social media?
Well, I personally watched that documentary on Netflix a few weeks ago, the Social Dilemma, and it completely shook me. I was so rattled by the way these products are designed and how I engage with it, and how, I obviously use it to put out a lot of content, but I also absorb and consume so much content. And I started to think, any account that wasn't serving me in a positive way, I unfollowed. I've now set really important boundaries. I don't take my phone to the bedroom. I have certain hours in the evening where with the kids and doing bath and dinner time, I don't have my phone, and so that's really helped. But you just got to focus on accounts that give you something positive, whether it's a recipe account or a fitness account, and anything that makes you compare yourself in a negative way or gives you brings you stress and anxiety. I really think you should remove them from your social media feed and focus on the positive people that you can find.
So a lot of people joining us today are building digital businesses, a lot of entrepreneurs and people in large organisations who are, going through a digital transformation journey. What advice do you have for them around how you build a brand around community, which is effectively kind of what you're doing?
I think, when I look at my journey and my success, it really looks like I had this massive vision and I was this marketing expert and I knew what I was doing, but the very first video I posted on Instagram was a recipe video in my kitchen. I was in Surbiton on my iPhone. I had no idea what I was doing. I just had this desire to want to share a recipe. I just thought it was quite funny. I shared that recipe and I consistently gave out 3 recipes a day every day for like 3 or 4 years, and that led to an amazing book deal, and I ended up selling 3.5 million books. Same with YouTube. I shared my first YouTube video when I was a personal trainer in a park in Richmond, and I had no idea that was going to go on to become P with Joe and have DVDs and TV shows, but I was so driven by sharing free content, and the feedback that I got from it, I was obsessed. Like, I loved sharing a recipe and seeing someone comment on it, and then them going to make that recipe and tell me they loved it. And it's the same now with what I do. I'm still so deeply engaged in my audience. You wouldn't believe the screen time I have, and the amount of DMs and voice notes I still send every day to my audience. It would blow you away. You would think I've got a team of hundreds of people around me. I've got me and my cousin Luca, he kind of monitors my social media, but I still am the voice, and I understand how important that is for brand and for authenticity, that people still feel like they can connect and reach out to me, and that's something that I will never walk away from. I'll always value the importance of communicating back and forth, because it really makes a difference to people. It really means they can feel like they're almost invested in you as a person. So when you do have an app or a book and you do a pre-order campaign, it goes gangbusters, because I've built that trust and that love over so many years now.
And can you remember what that first ever recipe was that you uploaded?
Yeah, I sometimes look back at it. It was the worst video. So it was basically like homemade it was like fish and chips, if you like. So I just sort of cut some potatoes up and roasted them, and then I had a bit of cod, which was just fried in the pan. It was like all watery, it didn't look nice, and I just put some leek and some peas next to it. And I just said, and that right there is lean in 15, and it was just a silly idea. And when I think back, my friends and family were like, "What are you doing with these silly videos? Like, get back to your boot camps and doing your personal training." But something inside of me just kept going to the supermarket, buying ingredients, making a new recipe. And every day, breakfast, lunch and dinner, I shared it. And this is long before like fitness Instagrammers and people getting book deals and TV shows. I really was at the forefront of it, and I think my mission was the same, and it's the same now. I just love helping people either cook and eat healthy or exercise and feel good. And it runs through my products, it runs through my innovation with my app, it runs through every piece of content I post every day. It's like, is this adding value to the person that's at the other end of the screen? And that really is my motivation. I love it. I love that I've built this community that is helping millions of people a month through fitness, and also my recipes is helping people live a healthier life. So I'm very purpose driven. I think my success, if I had started from the beginning, like, I want to build a brand and sell stuff and do brand deals, and that's just not the way to do it, and I don't think it works. I think when you're really purpose-driven, that's when you have an amazing career.
Yeah, that's interesting. I was going to talk to you a little bit about that. How do you think about developing a brand with purpose? Like, is that the core to sort of like success? I mean, not just for you, but for other organisations as well.
Well, when I think of like successful brands that are doing good things, I think about brands that are just telling amazing stories and have a mission behind them, and it's not necessarily about making more money and optimizing for profit on every single opportunity you do. Like, I'm an example. So I had a massive offer from a supermarket in the UK, loads of money, and it was amazing. And I was like, wow! And I almost for a moment got blinded by this number. But when I sat and looked at the product and realised that what they were trying to get me to sell was microwave dinners and boil in the bag curries and frozen ready meals, I knew in my heart it wasn't the right decision. I knew that I could not spend 7 years of my life trying to get people to cook, to turn around and say, look, I'm now going to sell these ready meals. I'm going to take the money and run, and I'm going to have amazing time of it. But I know my audience, and a part of me would have died. The day I had to say, look guys, go and get my frozen Joe Wicks ready meals, part of me would have died. And so I'm very cautious of that. And then I went and created an amazing opportunity with Gusto, which is a recipe company box who deliver fresh ingredients and you make it at home. So one opportunity, one door closed, and I said no, but I opened up another door, which has been an amazing partnership, a really, truly amazing partnership where I actually kind of approached them. They didn't approach me, and that's been really fantastic, that one.
We're getting loads of questions coming through now from people watching. So I'm going to kind of take maybe the first three. We've got a few minutes left. So the first one is, I'm finding it harder to get motivated. It's so dark and cold out now. What are your tips for winter workouts, Joe?
So I often say that motivation is waiting for you at the end of a workout. And being fit isn't really about motivation, it's about discipline. It's about having the discipline that even when it's raining, it's cold and it's dark, that you put your kit on, and you go and do a little 5K, or you go and do a workout in the garden or in your living room. It's just having the discipline to stick to that habit. Like every day, you get up and you have your coffee and you read the news and you make your breakfast. It's almost, you've got to tag that habit into your day and fix it in and just say, I'm doing this not to weigh myself and to lose weight and to fit into my jeans, because that is not a big enough motivator. But if you do it to feel good, if you say, I want to exercise today, to have energy, to be productive, to get more done, to be calmer with my kids, these are the things that motivate me on the days I can't be bothered. So always remember that, always remind yourself that you'll feel better afterwards.
Another question, Joe. Obviously, so many people joining us are working from home now. The question is, what do you think that employers' role is in encouraging fitness on all levels for the people who are working for them?
I think it's so important. At the peak of the business, we had 50 staff, so it grew really quick. We had loads of staff. This is before we had innovated the product and kind of improved it. So we had 50 staff. I had an amazing office in the gym, gym in the office, which I love. We eventually got a bit lean and the team got smaller as we improved the product. But I still said to all my staff, do you want access to a gym? I've got the membership over at the gym in Richmond where we were. Now we're not at the office. I provided them with online Zoom workouts. So once a week we're having different trainers come in doing workouts for us, which is quite fun. It's kind of team building. And I've also just looked at investing in some like a home sort of gym. I've got this it's a techno gym, like a home gym. You've got dumbbells and bands and stuff. So I'm trying to get one of those. And I've said to the guys that, would you like one? And I think 75% have said they would. So that's something that I believe that they're expensive. It's a big investment, but I know that that's going to help their physical and mental health. It's going to hopefully encourage them to do that on a regular basis. And I really think that's going to improve their life. And I care about these people. They've been with me for 5 years. These members of staff have been with me since the very start. And I always think about how amazing it is that they've stayed with me in a customer service role, when we've had highs and lows, and now they're all there still at this exciting moment we're about to release this product, this app. And so I really value that, and I want to be grateful for their energy and improve their mental health where I can.
We're pretty much out of time, but one final question from the audience. Is there one piece of equipment that you would recommend that people buy if they could just buy one thing?
Well, I'm really into I love my Peloton. I've got a Peloton bike. I think for me, like over a treadmill, rower, and a bike, I always get on the bike. I love my bike. But in terms of just home equipment, all you need is a good mat and a couple of dumbbells, and that's an amazing way of getting fit. And like I said, I've got hundreds of YouTube workouts, but there's so many great trainers on there. You'll find bar, you'll find Pilates, you'll find HIIT trainers. So really use the tech that's out there that's free. It's not even a subscription. YouTube is free, and there's loads of great content. So utilize that and get into a habit of doing it 20 minutes a day. It's going to really transform the way you feel, especially during the lockdown.
Joe, thank you so much for making us mobile this morning and motivating us, and for spending time with us.